Okay, it is 11 o'clock, so we are going to get started. Let's move this out of the way and add in some paper that I can write on. Matthew, just for the record, if someone doesn't respond in the chat, usually that means they're not here, no matter how many times you ask them. Anyways, if you've noticed, the camera is a little bit more zoomed in today. I'm trying a new setup. We'll see how it works. I hope it works. It looked pretty good for the writing part right there. Sorry, I'm moving some pens around, so if you hear some of that, that's what that is. Anyways, if you hadn't seen already, today we are going to be focusing solely on exponents. Now, exponents are they're pretty simple once you get the hang of it, but they can be kind of confusing when you first go over it. So we're going to take it step by step and just kind of go over them, especially since we went over order of operations, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to go a little bit deeper because I know how challenging they can be at sometimes. So if we have a problem and it looks like we're going to start with 10. So let's do 10 times 10 times 10. We've got 3 10s. Now, these numbers right here, the one that is repeated, this is called our repeated factor or just repeated number. So we take that and we're just going to write this over here. And let's say I didn't write the question down, but let's say it says write in exponent form. Okay, let's say that's our problem. Write in exponent form. So we take our number that's repeated and we write it down. Our next step is going to be to count the number of times that's repeated. So this is our base, but we need to count how many times it's repeated. So we have 1, 2, 3 repetitions. And with 3 repetitions, we have 3 10s. Now we know that if we were to take this and multiply it, it would be 10 times 10 times 10. We would get 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 is 1,000. But right now we are looking for an exponent. So what I'm going to do is I have 3 of these 10s, which is our base. I'm going to take that number 3 and I'm going to make it really small and put it up here. And just like that, you have written this number in exponent form. And this is just another way to represent numbers. So we don't have to write 10 times 10 times 10. We can just write 10 to the third power. Now, the next thing that might happen is it might be asked of you to write these numbers in, what am I going to say? Oh, in word form. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at it and it's going to say write in word form. And sorry, I'm trying to write a little bit differently because I noticed that it zooms in, or it focuses a little bit better when I've got my hand a certain way. So I'm going to try my best to get it to focus. So I apologize for my handwriting in that problem. Now, write in word form. Now we have 10 to the third power, 10 to the power of 3. So what's going to happen is we are going to write that. There's 2 different ways you could write this. In word form, you can either write it as 10 to the third power, or you can write it as, hold on one second. You can write it as the third power of 10. Now, I will say, I actually prefer this one right here because it keeps our numbers in order. So 10 to the third power has the 10 first and then third power. This way kind of makes it a little bit more confusing, but it is a proper way that you could write it. So the third power of 10 is written exactly the same as you can see above. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice with a few problems here. So let's take a look. I've actually looked up some different problems that we can use. And yep, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to scooch this up a little bit. And our problem is going to be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And I'm going to put this in both exponent form and word form. So I'm going to put exponent form and word form. So we have exponents and words. Now, remember, we're going to, well, we already have our base, which is 10. So our 10 is the number that's repeated. So we can just write 10 right there. And then we have 1, 2, actually, let's write this down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exponents, or sorry, 5 tens, which leads to our exponent being 5. So the way we read this number is 10 to the 5th power. So we just write it the way we read it, 10 to the 5th power. Okay, so now that you know how to understand it and write them, let's take it even a step further. So let's say someone gives you this problem, and it says, solve for 10 to the 4th. Well, first things first, what does 10 to the 4th mean? 10 to the 4th is the same as saying 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Now we take this and we multiply. So now we have 100 times 100. And if we do that, we have 1 and then 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get a whopping 10,000. Okay, so that one seemed pretty simple. But what if not only did they have an exponent, but they're like, you know what? Solve this one. And it is going to be 2 times 10 to the 3rd. So that one, it's like, oh my gosh, there's an extra step. What's going to happen? I don't know. Actually, I do know. What we're going to do is, first things first, because of our order of operations, if we go back and of what we were doing yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't know, all the days run together. And we take PEMDAS, and let me scooch that up a tiny bit more for you. We take that. Exponents have to go first. So we leave the 2 alone and we solve for this. So we times 10. So if we do that, 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000, because we have 3 zeros. So now we have 2 times 1,000, and we would get 2,000, because 2 times 1 and 3 zeros is 2,000. So just like that, we've done 2 problems using exponents. Nothing too scary yet. And that's pretty much where it's at. However, I'm going to do one more just to make sure, and then we can call it a day. Today's lesson is kind of short. So we have a number. We're going to do 6 times 10 to the 2nd. Once again, using PEMDAS as we have it written above, we are going to do the exponent first. So we have 10 to the 2nd, which is equal to 10 times 10, which equals 100. Now we have 6 times 100, which is equal to 600. And just like that, you have completed a math lesson. In fact, actually, let's really fast. Let's do no. I think we're good. We wrote it in Word form. You can go back and look at it. Right now, those are all our exponents are in base 10. Yeah, with our base of 10. I'm not going to dive into anything else like that today. So the assignment will be on Google Classroom here in about 10 minutes. Honestly, it's going to be a pretty short one, short lesson, easy going. We're all good. Have a great day, and see you tomorrow.